The Team Natural community was around for about 12, 13 years, but I've been doing hair for over a decade. And in this video, I'm going to show you one of hundreds of my clients that I had to fix and repair from Team Natural practices. So let's get into it. Before we get started, make sure you go ahead and subscribe here to my channel and then click on that bell notification so you're notified every time I post another video. If you are new here to my channel, hi, hello, I'm Sindao, and on my channel we talk about the wonders of nature and their benefits for healthy hair, skin, nails, gut health, and so many other things. But in the midst of that, there is something that you have to do. You have to act in co-creation with your creator with maintaining healthy hair, skin, and nails. So today we're going to go over the hair structure and how a lot of the practices that you guys do end up breaking the hair structure down. Now, initially when you first look at her hair, right, it looks so beautiful. And she used to do wash and goes all the time. She wasn't really stretching her hair out that much. You know, she only used her fingers and she would do length checks. So when you do the length checks in the back, and if your hair is always like in a bun, in a ponytail, and you're barely combing through it because you're allergic to combs and brushes, then you can really get the illusion that your hair is all one length. All right. But the very first thing that you need to know about your hair is your porosity. So make sure you check the links in the description box below so you can get your hands on my ebooks that break down porosity, low porosity, medium porosity, and high porosity. There is an ebook for each one of you. Okay. But like I said, as you're looking at her hair, her curls are so thick and luscious and beautiful, but the amount of split ends, the amount of uneven hair she has, you guys, is about to be out of this world. Now, this woman here, I have been doing her hair, her daughter's hair for years, right? But when I did her daughter's hair, I would only see her once, maybe once or twice a year, if even that. And in the meantime, they were doing Team Natural styles. You've seen her daughter in the past before. I may try to find that video, and that's why the quality of this video isn't the best, because this video is so old, you guys. But her daughter, I used to do her daughter's hair, like I said, maybe twice a year. And her daughter's hair was long, but it was so damaged. I would have to cut so much of her daughter's hair every time. But her daughter's, the only reason her daughter was coming to see me is because sometimes she was like, Mom, I want to see my hair straight sometimes. Like, I don't want to always have two strand twists. I don't always want to do wash and go. Sometimes I want to do a little bit more than that. And her mom was cool with it, right? Even though her mom is a great woman, she did have a whole lot of things going on in her personal life. So she would just do, you know, the quick fixes, right? Like just cleansing her hair with apple cider vinegar, or, you know, doing the rice water thing, and all of the different things that she tried, right? So not only did I make sure that my clients had healthy hair when they left, I also made sure that they had a way to keep up with things when they left me. And the picture that you guys just seen pop up on the screen is somebody who did my 7-day hair growth challenge. And within my 7-day hair growth challenge, this is another review, guys. Within my 7-day hair growth challenge, this is the same exact thing that my clients took home with them. And I think that because of the mental perception that a whole lot of women have, women are automatically on the defensive. And I get so many comments like, oh, you're saying that they can only wear their hair straight. They're only supposed to wear their hair straight. No, baby, no. When my clients came and sat in my chair, their style would last, their silk press would last anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks, right? So let's go ahead and say 2 weeks. After those first 2 weeks, they will go ahead and shampoo their hair, and they will wear their natural styles for a week, right? So if they wanted to do wash and goes, which I did not ever recommend because it will always cause so much breakage, which we're going to talk about in a second. I would recommend other styles for them to do for like that week or like 2 weeks, where they're like fluctuating their styles and having styles that are going to set the bonds in the hair so they're not breaking and unbreaking the bonds. They're not causing hydro fatigue and all of these other things, right? There were certain patterns and routines that they followed, right? And by the time the month was over, it's such an easy and simplistic way to do your hair. But if every time you're doing your hair, if the bonds in your hair are never set, you guys, that is going to be a problem. Now, the woman here on the screen, make sure you go ahead and read her review, right? Read her review, but she's just letting you guys know that with this very, very simplistic pattern, she was able to retain length noticeably. Does this mean that the people who take my 7-day challenge are always straightening their hair? No, that is not what it means. But it does mean that they are fearless and they have flexibility. They have the flexibility to not be scared of a blow dryer and not be scared of a flat iron. So what you're seeing in front of you never happens. This beauty that you guys are watching this reaction to, she had no idea that the parts that were on the sides of her head were as short as they were. Now, there are certain styles that you guys do, crochets, top knot buns, and most of the wash and goes that you guys do that cause you to put a whole lot of products on the hair, it ends up being too heavy. It ends up splitting the ends. And for this reason, it ends up splitting all the way up the hair shaft, and then it just begins to constantly break. This beauty here had not had a trim in years. She would just do her 2-strand twist and keep it moving, right? She would put her hair in twist and keep it moving. And you have to realize, you would think like, okay, well, the shorter pieces, if she's twisting them, she doesn't see it. But actually, you don't. If the only thing you do is finger detangle your hair, if the only thing you do is comb your hair with your fingers, you will not notice the separation in the length. You don't. Women never do. And it's something that I did for over a decade. For over a decade, I would have women come in with this long, beautiful hair, so they thought, and then we would straighten it out, and it would be all of these crazy different lengths. Now, when I first um posted this video, initially people were like, oh my god, you cut so much hair. Listen, there was no way that the hair that she had on the sides and all of the extra bald spots that she had in the front were going to catch up with the length that was in the back. Not to mention, even though the longer pieces look thick, there were a whole lot of bald spots and a whole lot of damage to the hair shaft. And it's something that we literally could not save. Like, if you were there and you like rubbed your hand across her cuticle, it was, you could literally feel the cuts, and not the cuts, I'm sorry, the splits, and you could feel the mechanical damage. You could feel the hair shaft disorder that she had. Now, as we're going, most of the time a bob was like the easiest thing to do. Now, pay attention. I haven't cut anything of the part that I just parted down, but as you can see, that drastic difference in length that I just cut off the back, and then when I dropped down the hair that was in the front, that's the type of damage that so many women who follow Team Natural Practices had. And this is the thing, the problem is not, oh, wearing your hair natural, oh, you have to straighten your hair, you have to wear your hair straight. No, the problem is us constantly being in bondage. Why is it that every time somebody says like, oh, blow dry your hair or flat iron your hair, it's like, no, we can't. God made us with curly hair, and God is not going to be happy with us if our hair is like, no, guys, that's not what I'm saying. And that's not what any professional cosmetologist is saying. What we are saying is there is a certain way that you have to do maintenance on your hair, and you cannot see the true length of your hair. You cannot see the true health of your hair until all of the products are removed. So until you've had a detox of the hair shaft and a detox of the scalp, and until the hair is stretched. And Your hair stretched blown out and your hair stretched flat ironed are two completely different things. They're two completely different things. And again, she ended up, when she did get a trim years ago, she went to a Team Natural person, right? And they cut her hair wet. So when you're cutting somebody's hair wet to shape it, for curls, you're not paying attention to the length and any of the lines of demarcation. You're not paying attention to it being uneven or anything. And as a professional cosmetologist over the years, that is the problem. It's not that, oh, wearing your hair curly is a problem. That's not the problem. The problem is that when you decide to wear your hair curly, you decide to put yourself in this box and say that you're only a Black woman, or you only love yourself, or you only love your hair, or your hair is only healthy if it's curly, if it's in its natural state. And when you think about it, you guys, we have to take all of that emotion out of it. You know why? God also made it so that your breath stinks when you wake up in the morning, but when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you floss, you gargle, you remove all of the bacteria that's coming from the inside of your body. God also made your booty to stink in the morning and at the end of every day. But guess what? You take a shower every morning because you know that an increase in bacteria in those areas is going to be a problem, right? Why is it any different with our hair? Why is it that we admit that our mouth lets out bacteria, but we won't admit that our scalp lets out bacteria and it needs to be washed? Why do we see that we have to wash our face in the morning because our skin is going to be really oily, but we won't accept that the same oil that comes out of the pores of your face come out of your scalp? Why is that so hard for us to accept? So my 7-day challenge is not about, oh, no Team Natural, don't wear your hair curly. No, baby, wear your hair in any form. But that is the thing about the Black woman, understanding her divinity and understanding her excellence. When you have divinity, when you are sovereign, when you have excellence, you understand that I can wear my hair straight, I can wear my hair curly, I could do a wash and go for a couple of days, but there are patterns that I need to follow, because if I don't, I'm going to damage my hair. And you need to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth just saying, hey, look at me, I'm Black, I have curly hair? Or like, what exactly do you really want? And at the end of the day, that was how I used to feel as it pertains to the hair industry, because this is what I did all day long. So just imagine all day long here seeing women like this who are in this situation because they've used apple cider vinegar and their hair smells like apple cider vinegar when they get there, and then you straighten it out and show them this is what apple cider vinegar did to your hair. This is what you using those crochet braids did to your hair. This is what you using that seam ripper to take out your weave did to your hair. Different things like that. So when I did my 7-day challenge isn't, oh, how to wear your hair straight. No, it is explaining to you patterns and routine, explaining to you your hair's natural cycle so you can follow it down to the T without mixing all of these products in, without using apple cider vinegar, which is an acid that will burn your hair shaft. When I say these things, I'm not saying these things out of opinion. I'm not saying these things out of emotion. I'm not saying it to cause an uproar. I'm saying it out of love, because I was standing behind a chair from the time I was 19 years old until the time I was 28, going on 29 years old. And this is what I did on a daily basis. All of my clients had this type of damage because they were coming to me after they had seen that their hair had grew out so long and they wanted to now see the result. I really want you guys to get into learning the science of hair and not arguing so much, not being so quick to debate. This is not a video to say, oh, wearing your hair straight is better than wearing your hair curly. This is a video saying that wearing your hair curly all the time is not enough. This is a video to say that just because your hair is long and just because your hair looks thick when it's curly does not mean that it is healthy when it is straightened out. Just because on social media they say that the best way to cut your hair is when it is curly, it's a lie. And this is the end result. When we got done, she had a routine to follow, and her hair was back better than it was before. So it's all good. And the reason that I feel comfortable saying this is because not only am I the one who had to deal with it, but I was the one who fixed it. And when my clients took the 7 day challenge home with them, and at the time I wasn't calling it the 7 day challenge, but when they took what is now the 7 day challenge home with them, they were never in this situation again. Their hair was growing back and it was thriving like never before. But you guys, again, all of the videos that I make here are videos that I make so you guys can avoid the situations that I helped all of my clients out of for so many years. Now, you do not have to listen, right? You don't have to listen. You can do whatever you want to do. But years from now, when the hair weathering shows up, when the different forms of alopecia show up, when all of the different scalp disorders and hair shaft disorders show up, remember this day. Remember this video and remember that you were warned. I love you guys so much. And until my next video, leave me some comments below and I will see you next time.